Alright, so the third video on finding the area between curves. Let's take a look at this one. We have the sine and cosine curves intersect infinitely many times, bounding regions of equal areas. Find the area of one of those regions. Alright, so let's look at this. We want to go ahead and graph it. So let's graph the sine function and the cosine function. Alright, so this will be 1, this will be -1, we've got 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, and pi over 2. So for the sine function, I'm going to do it in red. So we know the sine starts at 0, then it goes to its maximum, 0, its minimum, and then back to 0. So the sine function is going to look like this. Now, the cosine function, well, it starts at 1, then it goes to 0, then it goes to its minimum, 0, and then back to its maximum. So the sine function is going to look like this. And so the area that we're looking for, and keep in mind, the sine and cosine functions, they go on forever. And see, when they intersect, see if we extend this like this, see there's another region. But the area of this region and the area of this region is the same. Okay, and all they're wanting us to do is find the area of one of those regions. So the area we're going to look for is this one right here. Okay, so what we need is we need to know this point of intersection and this point of intersection. Where does the sine and cosine functions intersect? Well, so we have sine x equals cosine x, and so x would equal what? Pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4. And that is for x between 0, that's for x between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, because that's what I'm looking at. I'm just looking from 0 to 2 pi, and those are the 2 points where they intersect. Well, and how did I get those values? Well, pi over 4 is 45 degrees, and if you look at the unit circle, a quick way to do it, well, here at 45 degrees, they're both square root of 2 over 2, the sine and cosine. And then this 5 pi over 4, that's over here in the third quadrant, and both of them are negative square root of 2 over 2 and negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay, so that's where they're equal. And yes, we have in the second quadrant and the fourth quadrant, but in the second quadrant, sine would be positive square root of 2 over 2 and cosine would be negative square root of 2 over 2, so they wouldn't be equal in the second quadrant. And then in the third quadrant, sine would be negative square root of 2 over 2 and cosine would be positive square root of 2 over 2, so they wouldn't equal in the fourth quadrant. They're only equal here in the third quadrant and here in the first quadrant, and so that's where the pi over 4 and the 5 pi over 4 come from. And keep in mind, when you're integrating your angle measures, you want them in radians also. All right, so let's set up our integral. So we're going to integrate from, okay, here x is pi over 4 and here x is 5 pi over 4. So we're going from pi over 4 to 5 pi over 4. All right, and remember, it's the function on top minus the function on bottom. So that's going to be sine x minus cosine x, and I'm integrating with respect to x. Alright, so now all we have to do is integrate this. So the antiderivative of sine x is negative cosine x, and then the antiderivative of cosine is sine. And I'm going from pi over 4 to 5 pi over 4. Okay. Alright, so let's plug this in. So I get negative cosine 5 pi over 4 minus sine of 5 pi over 4 minus, and that's going to be negative cosine pi over 4 minus sine of pi over 4. And so this is going to give us, well, there's my negative sign. Okay, and then the cosine of 5 pi over 4, remember the reference angle is pi over 4, so that's going to give us square root of 2 over 2, but we're in the third quadrant, so that's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2, minus the sine of pi over 4. Once again, the reference angle is pi over 4, and the sine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2, but since we're in the third quadrant, that's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2, minus, okay, and then we have the cosine of pi over 4. Well, let's put this negative there. And the cosine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2 minus, and the sine of pi over 4 is square root of 2 over 2. Alright, and so this is going to give us square root of 2 over 2 plus square root of 2 over 2 minus, and that's going to, I'll go ahead and combine these, that's going to be negative 2 square root of 2 over 2. And so here I'm going to have 2 square root of 2 over 2 minus negative 2 square root of 2 over 2. So that's 2, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and cancel the 2's out here. And so that's square root of 2, and then a minus and a minus is a plus. And so that's going to give me 2 square root of 2 for my answer. Alright, so that's all of this video. I hope it helped. You can check out the other ones. I've got some more on area between curves, and I have other videos on different topics, so hope you'll check those out. Alright, thanks.